So I'm joined by, and we're over on this camera, all the way over here, which is the one with the little white dot pointing on it. I'm joined by a person. I'm going to let you introduce yourself. Who are you and why are you here?
So my name's Dan Marks. I am here because I've been invited.
That's right.
to talk about TAGS, which is a Trelawny's Army Gaming Society, which is a miniatures club, a wargaming miniatures club that runs every Monday night in Truro.
It is indeed.
And also just to talk about hobby. Miniatures and role-playing and all manner of things.
And obviously, exactly that. And, you know, I want to say thank you for coming along. We've had a little chat beforehand and a little kind of like get to reacquaint each other, because we've met a few times, but never really in too much detail. And obviously, like, I know you through TAGS. Like, obviously, like, years ago, I played at Trelawny Army Gaming Society when it was like held in Truro in Basbo Comics and like this, the rough history of it, and where I used to play X-Wing miniatures. First edition was where I kind of like was along playing that, and
we've met over the Star Wars Legion table,
and that's where we've met in when it was at TT Workshop, and now it's at Happy Piranha, which is obviously all these Truro-based clubs, which are now hopefully unfortunately Basbo and TT Workshop are now gone, and we have Happy Piranha and the cafe there, which we do quite a bit with as it is, and they're actually going to be part of this Cornwall community series that we're doing. We're chatting to Sam and Josh from there, and I guess it's a case of like, where did TAGS start? Have you been involved from the very start?
Where did TAGS start? That's a good question. God. So, Games Workshop in Truro. Many years ago, Games Workshop just on the you know the shop, right? Just there on the corner. They used to have a veterans night. I can't remember when. This is going back years and years and years. They used to do a veterans night for the say older guys. I mean, we can't be much more than 18, 19 at the time. But we'd go in there on a Tuesday night to play 40k, and there used to be, I don't know, 10, 15 of us all squeezed in.
It is a small shop.
It is a small shop, and the windows were ringing, you know, where it was, there's an interesting smell of glue and
nan.
And glue and nerd, I think is, you know. But that came to an end, and why it came to an end, I thought, Games Workshop being corporate, they changed the policy. Wanted to sell more miniatures, less about playing the games in the stores, more about selling the miniatures in the stores, which is fine. But there was a group of guys. Interestingly, at that point, not me. I wasn't actually involved in it as much at that point. But there was a group of guys that wanted to carry on. They wanted to find somewhere else to go and play. And that's where the idea of TAGS came from. That's where the idea of forming like a club came from. And the idea sort of germinated, I guess, for a few years. And there was many places. There was a shop in Truro at one point called Saltarius.
Yeah.
You remember Saltarius?
Only just,
yeah. So they tried to get that going, and you had 3 levels of tables, and it had a little shop upstairs. The building, because that was on not River Street, Lemon Street.
Yes.
On the opposite side of the road, just up from the cinema, on the corner. But I remember that building got condemned, and the business had to shut down.
Yeah. I
still occasionally see the old manager from there, a chap called Adam. Comes into the pub that I run, and we chat every now and again. And Richard actually was something to do with Saltarius, and he is now a member of TAGS as well.
Nice.
So that closed down, and it got to a point where there was nowhere that you could play games, you could do anything in Truro.
I think that is common for so many places, but like with Truro specifically, because it is the central sort of nexus for Cornwall. So obviously, like, everything is like 8 miles away. Like, you're either in Falmouth or you're in Penzance or you're in, and it feels
like there's a huge gap between every population centre, doesn't it?
And Truro is right in the centre.
But if you're in Falmouth, you don't necessarily want to travel to Truro. If you're in Redruth, you don't really want to travel to Truro. There's a lot of people that play up in Bodmin. It's weird because you think about the geographical area, it isn't that big.
No.
Right? It's like if you go to Plymouth, probably wouldn't think twice about travelling from where you lived into the centre of Plymouth to go to a wargaming club, which is probably the same distance as Redruth to Truro, right?
Yeah, but the bus service is just not there, and you've got to drive. And,
exactly.
Yeah, and so obviously, like that's sort of like where the origins were. Then, because I remember that it was in obviously the British Legion in Trelawny.
That's right. Yeah,
yeah, which was like a while back. Because the Legion isn't there anymore, is it now? It's
no. That is the central bar now.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the central bar as it is now used to be the Royal British Legion, and they have it's still the room's still there. They've got a function room above, and one of the founding members of Tags was. He was either a member of the Legion or his mum ran it or something like that. There was a connection somehow. So Tags managed to get the room at quite a heavily reduced rate.
Yeah.
And they had a place that they could store all of the scenery.
Yes.
Because any club amasses terrain.
Yes, and I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to put a little pin in that and come back to that one a bit because it's something I think that anybody coming to this will have an idea of. We'll get to that.
We'll talk about that later. Yeah, let's table that one. So, yes, we were in the Legion, and at that point, I don't know what the membership was. I used to go I used to flit in and out. I wasn't a regular member at that point, but I used to flit in and out. That's when I was playing 40k.
Yeah.
I was a big Eldar player back in the day. I love me Eldar. I still do. I've still got them all in the attic, actually.
Nice.
They're very, very old, but they're still metal ones. I've still got the metal warp spiders. Anyway, digressing again.
We'll digress into that in a bit as well.
So yeah, I used to go there every now and again, and there was always a core group at Tags, and that core group to this day has always remained.
Yeah.
So after the Legion, where did we go after the Legion? I think
was it Basbo after that?
That was Basbo after the Legion,
which was on Old River Street or Princess Street or I can't remember. Oh, Bridge Street.
Bridge Street.
That's the name of it.
Used to be Gilbert's Video Hire.
Yes.
And then Gilbert's closed down when there was no money in the video rentals anymore. Basbo Comics took over, and we rented it from Basbo it was either Monday or Tuesday, I can't remember.
I think it was well, not that it matters now, but it was every Tuesday, I believe, because I think that was my X-Wing night.
Because when we were
at the Legion, then I joined in it.
When we were at Basbo, that's when I started to get into X-Wing, and actually, before Basbo Comics was there, I don't know if you remember, it was Troll Trader.
Yes. Yes,
wasn't it?
It was indeed.
That's how we got the place.
Yes.
Because a lot of the guys from Tags worked for Louis up at
Troll Trader at TT Combat.
That's right.
Yes, because obviously, and hopefully there's somebody we're going to get in for the series. Where they might even be in an interview before this releases, because I don't know which order I'm going to release these in.
No.
Obviously, we've got such a wide community of gamers in Cornwall that I think the guys from Troll Trader and the guys from TT Combat that now do come to Tags on a regular basis and are still part of the core group of Tags, I think is actually really important to the community because something that I was going to get to was that it's not necessarily not necessarily a closed club. Anybody can come along and start joining or want to play.
Absolutely.
But then it is and you talk about rent and stuff like that, it is a subbed club, so you do have to pay sub fees and stuff.
That's
and
right.
We'll, again, talk about that in a little bit. But I like that something that I found every time I've been to Tags, every time I've come along and played something, I picked up the core sets for Legion because I was like, I just want to pick Star Wars minis. And then people like Vaughn, people like Matt, and people like Paul and Andy were just like, do you want a game?
Yeah.
Do you want to learn how to play the game? And people there are very, very happy to get more people playing.
Yeah.
And I suppose one of the next questions for me is, if people are interested in coming to Tags and people are interested in maybe learning a system, do they, and I suppose it leads into terrain as well here, do they already have to have an army or anything? If somebody came along and said, I'm really interested in 40k, but I'm not sure if it's for me, do you have the facilities to say, look, we'll show you the basics and, you don't necessarily have to have an army to begin with. Do you have a way of showing people that before they go and spend the money at Games Workshop or with Atomic Mass transmissions and things like that?
So, it's exactly like you just said. You went to Tags, you just had a couple of core sets, right? And everyone was really keen to teach you the game.
Yeah.
The other guys are exactly the same. There's loads of games played there, 40k, Old World, Legions Imperialis, Star Wars Legion, I play a lot of Infinity, AOS, Spearhead, all that kind of stuff, and we've always got campaigns going. If people don't have armies, if they're just starting out, if they're looking to just get into the game, so many of us have so much stuff sitting around on shelves doing absolutely nothing. Here it is.
I mean, this is only part of it.
Exactly.
It's just
I'm exactly the same. I mean, I've got, I mained Infinity for such a long time. I've got 4 Infinity tables that I can do. I've got at least 4 Infinity armies that I can do. Full armies, not just starter armies. So if anyone wants to play Infinity, I'm your man. But yeah, the way you would do it with tags, look us up on Facebook.
Yeah.
That's where we do most of our communication.
Okay. Is that a group, is it, or a page, or is it a...
It's a group.
One of those. Cool. What I'll do is I'll grab the link for you and I'll drop that into descriptions below and do the whole point at the thing beneath me, and hopefully that puts up a thumbnail or whatever on. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, do that, like, subscribe, whatever. I'm not that au fait with YouTube yet.
So if you want to, basically, if anybody wants to join the Facebook page, find the Facebook page, click the join button. There'll be a couple of questions that they need to answer. It's simple stuff.
It's just stop any bots from going in.
Well, yeah, exactly. What games do you play? What's your favourite unit? Right.
Yeah. And even, I suppose with that, even if you're not into playing those games, you can be like, I'm just interested. And, like,
exactly that.
I'm assuming it's vetted by an actual human.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me, actually.
There you go. So you get kicked out of the group.
I'm your man, yeah. We do have bots that try and join.
Yeah, we get the same thing with the pages and with Instagram and with...
Yeah, I'd like to think that I'm pretty good. We haven't... The page isn't being spammed with anything at the moment, so I'd like to think I'm reasonably good at it. But it's not just me. There's 3 other guys that vet it as well. Yeah. They normally leave final judgment down to me, but they vet it as well. So yeah, look us up on Facebook, click the join, answer those questions, and then you'll be allowed onto the page. Yeah. And then what most people do, we've just had a new lad join yesterday, I believe, who's interested in 40k. Cool. I think he plays Leagues of Votan, from what I understand. Doesn't mean anything to me. I don't play 40k anymore. No. But there we go. He just popped up on the feed, interested in getting into 40k, got such and such. Does anyone want the game? Is anyone prepared to teach me?
Yeah, and I think if that's how easy it is, then that's awesome, because I think that coming to a new game, a new system, not only is there minis, there's dice. Do I have to have them painted? Do I have to have them like this? It's a pretty relaxed club. It's like if you're...
It's intimidating, right? Like, I remember the first Wargames club I ever went to, I must have been 13 maybe 14.
Wow.
It was down at Hendra Hall.
Yeah.
Because there's still a lot of tags members came out of that group as well. Yeah. So, I mean, that group goes back decades, right? Used to run every other Sunday and every other Friday night. So my first experience of a wargaming club was there.
Wow.
And I remember walking, my mum dropped me off, I remember walking in on a Friday night, and my heart I was like, I just didn't know what to expect. Yeah. Because back then, back in my day, you know, there wasn't Facebook, there wasn't, you know, you did all your communication by landline, yeah? You just phoned up your mate and said, oh, do you want to come over for a game? And that was that. Whereas now we've got the, you know, Facebook Messenger, as much as people complain about social media, actually, that's the good side of it. It's great. Yeah, because you get to introduce yourself to people, and you get to introduce yourself to everybody, right? Yeah. Sort of before you go down, people know your name, people know what to expect, you know what to expect, and also the guys are really quite... It's like we were saying earlier, we just want people to play the games. Yeah. So we want more people to play the games, because more people is healthy for the hobby.
Very inclusive. Absolutely
that. So they get plenty of people commenting, oh yeah, I'll give you a game, or what have you got, you know, blah, 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 when are you free, that kind of thing. Yeah. That's how it happens, and it happens very naturally.
Yeah. So I like that, and you actually say about the anxiety of going into a club and the anxiety of like starting something, and something that I think I've seen personally with tags is you have such a diverse group of people from you know, such neurodivergence, and also people with many different special needs that are like happy to go and play, and you're not like, no, get out of here, you. Yeah. No, it's such an inclusive space, and to anybody who might, you know, sit on the ADHD spectrum, maybe sit on the autism spectrum, or, you know, have any kind of difficulties with even just reading a rulebook, and you look at a rulebook and you go, fuck, I can't read that. Like, it's so much information. Yeah. What I found is that, like, walking into tags and, like, hanging around with you guys for a little bit, you were so inclusive, and it's amazing to see, because, you know, we do hear bad things about people in clubs, and it's like a guys club, and
you hear horrible things, don't you?
You do, because it does happen out there, and you get these like cliquey groups that are like, you know, oh no, not whatsoever, and like right down from like
I mean, I've been involved in those cliquey groups myself.
Yeah,
I've got experience of those.
Exactly. And I think what's nice is, like, with you running tags, and especially with people like Matt who's there, and other people who are, you know, okay, they don't just hear something and go, right, that's it. They go, oh, okay, well, actually, that person, what's going on here? And it's such a lovely thing to see and go, oh, you guys are actually trying to be a community for people, not just a gaming group. And that, for me, was like, I want to chat to you guys because it's really lovely. So for anybody who is interested in tags or is, maybe can get to Troy, and it's a Monday night, yes?
Yeah, Monday night, 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
At Happy Piranha.
Happy Piranha. And obviously, like, if they're not on the Facebook group or if they're not on social media, can they turn up like, hey, I'm just interested, can I come into future games? Can they turn up? Is it like...
By all means.
Yeah. Perfect.
With there, the door is open.
Yeah.
If you if you pluck up the courage to walk in through that front door, I mean, in all honesty, Happy Piranha is quite an open space. I mean, you've been there, right?
It's a very open space. It's a lovely space.
The cafe's now open.
It is indeed.
And they're doing burgers, hot dogs. They're doing food. They're doing coffee. So you can order coffee on the night.
You can.
It's a very civilised gaming experience.
It is, and not only that, this is something that I really like as well, is that it's not just an empty function room.
No, it's not just a hall.
It's not just a hall somewhere. It's actually
themed rooms.
It's themed,
yeah.
And for some reason, I find that more approachable than just walking into some function room somewhere and being like, oh, hi, I'm Ian. I was just meant to meet somebody here to
because when you go to a big hall, you walk in through the front door, don't you? And everybody's like,
ooh.
So it's like that joke, you walk into a pub and hit the beagle at the piano.
Yes.
It's like that. Yeah.
Exactly that. And I think that, so for those, again, who haven't necessarily visited Happy Piranha and are coming to Cornwall or living in Cornwall, or, maybe you're just starting to find that you're going out a bit more on your own, or you've got friends and you want to go try these things out, Happy Piranha's cafe is a fantastic place as it is, but the fact that you guys run tags there, and they have tons you're not cramped for table space.
No, not at all.
It is, we're talking like 6 foot by 3 foot tables you can get a decent gaming on.
Yeah, we've got, I think I worked it out, because I handle the bookings every Wednesday. I think I worked it out. We've got 17 6x4 tables.
Yeah.
That we can run. So that's, I mean, we break it down, there's 17 games of 40k you can have running.
Yeah.
So we did a tournament in there, the Star Wars Legion tournament.
Stonewall, that was last weekend?
Last weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was, I want to say 20. We might have had a drop out. It might have dropped down to 18, but it was either 18 or 20 players.
Still good,
that
though.
There. Yeah.
Because that was like people from Devon came down.
Yeah.
So was that hosted by Tags then at Happy Piranha then?
Well, that was hosted by, I mean, Paul ran it.
Yeah.
There were Tags members there.
Right.
But really, this is Paul. This is Paul's little baby, the Scone Wars.
Yeah.
So we've got this was the Cornish leg. We've already had the Devon leg when we've all gone up to Curtain Games.
Yeah.
And now the next leg at Curtain Games is scheduled for April, I think.
Yeah.
It's like I think we're trying to think of it as like the Ashes for Star Wars Legion.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. And like you talk about competitive like tournaments like 40k and Star Wars Legion, which is something that if I was coming to a war game, and I think I did actually with Legion when I came across, and I was like, I think at 3 sessions, I was like, fuck it, I'll enter a tournament.
You did? Yeah, you did, didn't you?
And like, other people might not be as blasé about stuff like that as I can be, because I was like, the only way for me to learn is by losing. and that everyone's different. And like, if you go to the clubs, what I found with tags is you are not just going to get trounced into the table.
No.
People aren't like, okay, fresh meat, let's go. What I found is like Paul, who runs most of the Legion stuff, yourself, and I'm not sure if Tim still goes there, but he was also doing it, was like, yeah, look, we'll go through the basics. I'm not going to throw like a heavy list of power playing at you. I'm just going to put down, start with a list that you think you like. If you like a certain
play what you think is cool.
And that's what you go with. Like, I've been in part of clubs before where they're like, you need to get this, and this, and then you can tournament play. You guys were like, nah.
Yeah.
What do you like? And I was like, oh, I like this. And you're like, all right, so start here, maybe do this one. And you gave a little bit of advice, and then you let me go in a tournament. I got absolutely trounced. I had the best time ever.
And that's what matters, right?
Because I was playing thematically what I really liked. And I think that yours and Paul's approach, and I imagine it's the same through like people teaching 40k, is like, I'm not going to sit here and table you. I'm not going to sit here and destroy you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sit here and go, right, well, let's build something around what you like. Why did you come to this hobby? Why this particular game? Why this faction? And then go from there. And as somebody from the outside coming in, which can be very intimidating, I think your guys' approach was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I really, really, really appreciated, one, feeling like I was part of the club from day one.
Yeah.
2, the fact that you weren't jerks. It wasn't like, oh, there's somebody new, let's not talk to him. People were genuinely interested in getting to know each other.
You know what? I think the world has changed. I think we've all moved on a little bit, haven't we? I think that time, the time when wargaming clubs were like, you know, beardy bands with I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's gone now.
I completely agree.
You look at you know. You look at how big wargaming is these days. You look at it's not 40k isn't the only kid on the block anymore.
No.
40k is actively having to work to keep its people engaged.
Yep.
Because you've got things like Star Wars, you've got things like Infinity, you've got lots of big IPs that are and it's not just that they're like sort of milling around in the background, because we've all got Facebook, we've all got the internet, we've got captive audiences.
Yep.
We've streaming people, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? We've got this. It's all there for us now.
Yeah,
and people can see. I mean, I saw. What was at Tags last night, and there was a regular bunch of guys. James, who does a lot of poster art and stuff for us, right? James Price. He brought along an Elder Scrolls board game, a Skyrim board game.
Nice.
And he had like 6 or 7 people around that, right? Skyrim is a multi-billion selling video game that, you know, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people have heard of.
Yeah.
And now here it is with miniatures on the tabletop, right? So the wargaming fraternity is no longer cloistered
around one game.
Yeah, cloistered, smelly blokes in a room.
Yeah. And I think that that's something that I really enjoy about Cornwall is actually we are seeing not insurgence,
a resurgence
of female players, and not just like in wargaming, but like I certainly know that with Dragonborn Industries and with Steph, who is one of our players there, she's running the Gals and Pals nights at Happy Piranha. She's selling tickets out like just to get women involved in like female fronted only games, because it is such a daunting thing to come to a club and be like, oh god, it's so male dominated.
Yeah.
And actually, what I started seeing, especially with a few other Cornish content creators, one in particular with Miniature Noodles, Leah, who's up in Bodmin, who I think games with Bugle Bat Reps. It's great to see that it's not just a case of one, people being misogynistic towards her, but also that she is absolutely included into the clubs and absolutely into the game, and she's smashing it.
Yeah.
And like, you see it with Tags, you see it with other local clubs, and it is becoming a more inclusive area. And I think that Tags is the perfect thing for that, especially with like students who may be coming to Cornwall, or with people who are just wanting to try a game. And I know you talk about wargaming, but you do actually cover things like board games as well. Some people just like book a table and go, I just want to play a board game.
So we never used to.
Yeah.
There used to be a rule at Tags that it was miniatures based games only, no board games. And I can't remember if we changed that. I want to say we changed that as the last committee, because we decided that was a little bit of an archaic thing, right?
Yeah.
And I think we had the conversation that, right, well, let's just allow board games, because why not?
Yeah. Sometimes you don't want to throw dice and just get tabled in turn one.
I think people were a little bit afraid that, like historically, I think maybe they were a little bit afraid that it would just turn into a board games night.
Yeah.
But it hasn't.
No, and I think that's because there are so many niched board games now.
Exactly.
I mean, we're sat here with a member of Tags, Connor, playing
Resident Evil,
which is like obviously a massive IP from Steamforged Games.
Yeah.
You talk about like then having miniature games like Skyrim, and also now things like
well, the Star Wars IP is particularly big, right?
I'm going to talk to you about that in a minute.
But
Game of Thrones.
Sure.
Yeah, and like it's absolutely incredible. I know they're still war games, but then like the inclusion of board games I think is great, because I think sometimes big armies and big point systems can be too much for some people. So it's nice that it's like, hey, can we play this board game? And there's usually somebody there. And I actually credit Matt Rowe, because we were playing a little game of Resident Evil there at the 24-hour event the other day.
Mm-hmm.
His knowledge of rules was just like, he'd never played Resident Evil. He's like, oh, it's like this system, okay, and like that. And somebody like that, who is one, a genuinely good human being, who is just nice to people, was then like, oh, cool, actually, can I sit down and play with you? And like, can we go through it? And it was like, it wasn't like, no, this is the rule, that's it. It was like, oh, okay. And then like, it was very, very welcoming.
I was a little bit upset because on the 24-hour event, which again we'll have to talk about those as well because that's another thing that we need to talk about.
Yes.
I couldn't be there for the full 24 hours. I was only there for the 12, and I was gutted because Matt had brought along a Street Fighter 2 board game.
Yep.
And I was so excited to play
Another
that.
Steamforged gamer, that one, isn't it?
Is
yeah.
it? Yeah.
So actually, let's get on to that. So not only do you have this club, you run on a Monday night, which then connects people to then play games away from the club as well. Because I'm sure people will get to know each other and go, "Oh, do you want to fancy a game at my house? Cool, let's go."
Yeah, and there's other places around Cornwall as well. That there's other shops and stuff
and rooms that you can go
Shout
into.
out to Tier 1.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly that, because Tier 1 down in Redruth, if you are in Redruth and can't get across to Troll Road, then Tier 1 are fantastic, and they again do table bookings pretty much every day of the week.
Yeah.
But you have this ability to then bring people together to play games, but then you also started doing charity events. Because you're like, okay, and actually I'll let you talk about it, because you spoke about it passionately today. I'm about to just talk over you and be like, well, it's all this, but I'm actually going to let you talk about what those charity events are and what you run and why you run them.
So, we've done 2 so far. Interestingly enough, the idea of the charity event sort of came from a couple of the guys in the committee wanting to play board games for 24 hours. That's what they wanted to do, and we sort of got our heads together and said, well, if we're going to do that, why don't we turn it into some kind of charity event?
Yeah.
Pick a charity, effectively play miniatures games for 24 hours and get sponsorship.
Yeah.
There's other places that have done it. I mean, I heard about it somewhere. Can't remember exactly now, but yeah, okay, that sounds like a brilliant idea. We get to play games for 24 hours and we get to raise money for a good cause.
Yeah.
So the first one we did was last weekend of September, and we raised money for Man Down.
Yeah.
Because we figured men's mental health, wargaming, as we've already mentioned, is quite a male-dominant thing. It seemed to be the right fit. Also, in my professional life, I run a pub.
Yeah.
Which also has a function room, which has also been used as a venue for tags. And the guys from Man Down, they use my venue for meetings, all that business. So it was just the right fit. So that's how that came about, and we did the 24-hour event at Tabletop Workshop, which was Vaughan's place.
Yep.
And it was really successful. Had a great day. Loads of people came down. We raised about 1,100 quid. Wow. Maybe 12. It's great.
That's really good. So is that those donations come from the people who are taking part in the 24-hour event, or is there anybody from outside?
So what we did was for the first event, we put our names out there and we said, okay, these are the games we play. So we listed all the games we play. So like I listed Infinity, Shatterpoint, Star Wars Legion, for instance. And I said, if you want to book me in to play one of those games, table fees are £5.
Yeah.
Come along and book in a time slot. Come along and play.
Yeah.
And I played Shatterpoint, like 3 games of Shatterpoint and 2 games of Infinity back to back all day.
Nice.
I'd had it.
It's a lot to do.
And that was all before like 10 at night, and we still had to get to 10 the next day, right?
Yeah.
But still, that was fantastic.
And like Shatterpoint had only just come out, so like learning those rules.
It had only just come out, and I sort of burnt out on it a bit that day.
Yeah.
Hey, it was still good fun. And then anybody else that was booked in, it was £5, a £5 donation. It was a minimum £5 donation, right? People donated more. People were very generous. They reached into the pocket. So we had little pot, cash donations, all that kind of business. And we did a big heresy participation game.
Nice.
So we had about 12 people around a heresy table.
Wow.
Big old Thunderhawk gunships and Titans. It was all painted. It looked cracking. And yeah, all of and there was 8 of us that went through. So basically, the 8 of us that decided we wanted to play games for 24 hours, we formed ourselves as like the core group, and we were there during the day, and we offered ourselves out to challenges, and then in the evening we basically stayed on, carried on playing games, did hobbying, board games, all that kind of stuff, just to try and keep ourselves going. And what we did was, each one of us that did that, we donated 50 quid to the charity, basically for the privilege of staying up all day playing games.
Yeah, and so then it comes to this year round, which obviously you did Cornwall Air Ambulance, which I was very privileged that I got to take part in. I too didn't get to complete the full 24 hours, because unfortunately kids and life outside
life gets in the way, right?
And we were there. We were asked there from Happy Piranha, but on basically to try and add something else to it other than the war games, which actually I had a great time, and I got to hang out with people I haven't hung out with in a long time because I've been doing this. And you speak about mental health, and actually we started this channel because of bad mental health. I had a full breakdown, full-on complex PTSD, and that's where Dragonborn industry sort of started for me. Because I was like, well, what can I do to try and turn a hobby into work and try and give myself that focus again? And I completely agree with you when you say, like, this whole male-dominated space, but also that, like, this man down charity fits, because I think coming to a table and slinging some dice, you can leave it all at the table. You can be having the worst day ever, and you can I find even if I lose at a game, I'm like, at least I played a game. At least I was social with somebody. At least I was there. And I think that's something that a lot of tag members understand, because I think there is a lot of people out there who are part of tags or might come to tags that have had mental health issues. And have struggled with depression, bipolar, with PTSD, with so many different unfortunate afflictions that we have of the mind. And I think that because you guys are so open, it is the perfect space for people to just get away for even a few hours.
Yeah. Sling some dice with some good people.
And I think that's the main thing. So obviously this year round, I was so happy to take part in it, and I was very grateful to be invited along. And the event was, now it's held in Happy Piranha, was like really interesting for me because it was such a different event.
It was different this year. It was less. See, the first one we did, because it was out at Vaughan's place, out at Mulpus, felt a little bit closed door, and only the people that knew about it knew about it. Right? That makes sense. Whereas being Happy Piranha, we're right at the top of Pydar Street, so there are people coming and going, and actually people were just coming in off the street.
Yeah.
And because the cafe was open, coming in off the street, buying a coffee. And I know you had quite a number of people that sort of just randomly wanted to try D&D for a couple of hours.
Yeah, and that was the whole point, is that we were like, we're here to, help with the charity event, but if you want to come in and, donate to, the cause and play a little game of D&D, then Jack and I ran that. And it was a really lovely day. And the idea that, like, the cafe would be open and people could come in on the street, I really liked that. And it was like, not only that, it wasn't just like a load of guys like, we're playing games, what are you doing in here?
No.
You were like, right at the front, like, hey, come on in. You were like, because we
had the demo table set up. So we had a demo table for AOS Spearhead. We had a demo table for 40k. We had a demo table for Infinity, for Legion. We had we had a big Heresy game going on right in that front room as you come in. We had bookable tables. See, we did it slightly differently. Rather than offering ourselves out for challenges, we said to people, right, we have X amount of tables available. These are the sessions that you can book.
Yeah.
It's £5 per person per session. Book the tables.
Yeah, and you had the armies ready to go, which was like, people didn't have to turn up with theirs. They could turn up and go, okay, well, I'll give Marvel Crisis Protocol a try. I'll give Infinity a try.
That's right.
And it was like, to see that there were so many of you that knew the games, that people could turn up, pay a £5, and then be like, hey, I just want to try this.
Yeah.
Do you like Spider-Man? Yeah, cool, play a Spider-Man. Yeah. And then go from there. Infinity, like watching you like throw out the terrain onto the table and then like go Infinity, which is something that I'm about to jump into as well. For me, was like, this is very cool. And like getting to see like you all showing new people something amazing and on behest of a charity, which I thought was just very cool.
So we didn't raise as much money this year. I think we got to about 900 quid.
Still good.
I know, right? You can't really complain.
But 8 core guys who were just wanting to play games for 24 hours.
Yeah. So we've already had conversations about what's going to happen next September. A few changes. Hopefully we'll be able to get it a bit more organised again. We were supposed to have like a dedicated hobby room, and we were supposed to have some like speed painting competitions and some like getting some kids in to do some miniature painting and stuff like that. Sadly, that didn't happen, but hopefully next year we'll be able to get that happen.
So is miniature painting something you normally do with tags, or is that something that's just done on those events?
That's so.
Because I know we're all miniature painters at
exactly
heart,
that, right? It's an integral part of the hobby.
Yeah.
It's not all about playing the games. It's also about sitting down, because also miniature painting, I mean, if you want to get away from things for a few hours, miniature painting is a great way of doing it.
So do tags offer like something miniature painting, or is that currently not something that is?
No, we don't have not a miniature painting service, as it were.
Or like just can people come along and a paint station of sorts?
Not at tags. There is no paint station. There was at the 24-hour event.
Yeah.
Because if we're going to be there for 24 hours, you're not going to be playing games for 24 hours.
No.
So we had guys wanting to build armies, wanted to put stuff. I don't think much painting happened, but a lot of building happened. But it's a wargaming event, and painting and building miniatures is an integral part of that experience. Which is why we wanted to have an area where there was painting and a place where people could show off their miniatures.
Yeah.
And we want to expand on that for next year, because we've got the room at Happy Piranha.
Yeah.
And the guys there are very happy for us to take over that space and do that. And we think it gives the community, because hey, you paint a great miniature, you want to show it off to people, don't you? So it's nice to be able to have a space where people can bring their stuff.
Yeah. So this will take me back to something else that I wanted to ask, and it's kind of a loaded question, so do forgive me on this one. Playing these war games and stuff like that, and if somebody's coming new to the club, do their miniatures have to be painted, and do they have to be painted well?
No, not at all. Of course they don't.
No, exactly that.
They don't even have to be put together half the time.
No.
You know what I mean?
It's like, and that's it's such an important question, I find, because
people get paranoid, don't they? It's like, I've just got into this. I haven't got any painted miniatures. I don't want to play because they're in a state. It doesn't matter.
No, exactly that.
Nobody cares.
No, and I think that's so important. Is that I've seen firsthand in the past, not at tags, but in the past, where people are like, "Oh, I'm not playing with you. They're all great. You've got to paint them." And I was like,
no.
I don't have time to paint them. I just want to play I built them, and actually, I think if somebody is turning around to you and going, "I'm not playing with you. They're not painted well enough." Get them gone.
No.
And exactly. And there's nobody at tags that's like that.
No, there isn't. And there's no need for that in this day and age. Do you know what I mean? If you're playing 40k, Games Workshop models cost enough money as it is.
You can't afford the paint.
You've spent a lot of money buying them. You spent your time putting them together. Do you know what I mean? Put them on the table.
Exactly that.
Come on.
And it's even then, I think even coming to Legion, and obviously I knew I was going to paint minis because I started Legion because I wanted to paint Star Wars minis.
Sure.
That's why I started the game. But then I was playing against you, and you'd done the bases, and then you Zenith highlighted, which for anybody who doesn't know, is just two primers, black from underneath, white from the top.
Yeah.
And then you put them on base, and actually I'm going to leave them like that.
Yeah.
And I really liked that. It was so effective, and I was like, you don't even need to paint them. It's like.
I mean, the only reason I did that is because look, I've got
How many armies?
Exactly. Exactly. None of them are completed. I get to the point where I think, oh great, I've got a fully painted list, and then I play a game and I'm like,
I don't like that list.
I don't like that list. I'm going to change it, and now I haven't got a fully painted list. So what I tend to do is I will get my minis to a point where they aren't grey, where they have been at least zenithal and based. And then I'll put them on the table, and I'm kind of fine with that. I'm also fine with grey plastic as well. That doesn't bother me in the slightest either. But we all have lives. This is a hobby at the end of the day. Or for me, it is my professional life these days, and my family life takes up an awful lot of my time.
Exactly.
I was planning to do some painting today, but then.
So you're here.
But then, professional life got in the way, even though it's my day off. And I've got a dog, which he needs walks.
Yeah.
It's time
exactly
consuming,
that. And not only that, it's take people who maybe have things like dyspraxia, or they have complex disorders where they have shaky hands.
Yeah.
And maybe you don't want to paint a mini because you're self-conscious about it.
Absolutely.
It's not a problem. Come along, sling some dice.
Yeah.
You're absolutely fine. I guess this leads us to what's the future for tags? What's coming up? What can people, if they're coming to tags now, expect from the future?
Well, the same inclusive, friendly place to come. There's no plans for that to change. We're always growing on Facebook. There's always new faces, always new people appearing. There's always people that want to play games. Campaigns is a big thing that we are trying to run.
Yeah.
So as well as just booking a table for the night, play a game with a friend or a stranger that is possibly becoming a friend. We've just finished a big Lord of the Rings campaign.
Nice.
Which had, James will kill me for not knowing. He had about 16 players.
Wow.
That came off the back of a very successful Age of Sigmar campaign.
Wow.
For which there was about 20 players, I think. Loads of people.
The 20 players at once around a table.
In throughout the whole campaign.
Right. I was like, that's a lot of people on a table.
Yeah, no. Throughout the whole campaign.
Yeah.
And the Lord of the Rings one, they ran it every other week. There was a big gang of them. And then, if not everybody was able to play, they would do pick-up games in between. Right?
Which is like just little skirmish games and stuff like that.
Absolutely. So, the league had about that amount of people in. I'd say like 16 to 20. Not necessarily all of them playing, because you know what it's like with that amount of people. You know, it's difficult, isn't it? But there were an awful lot of people, and they were booking games individually.
Nice.
You know, that was really cool. There is currently a Legions Imperialis slow grow happening. First games of that were last night. I think there was 8 or 9 of them playing that last night. So that's something that's growing. There is a Necromunda campaign on the cards as well that should be coming along, and this is all stuff that's being run by sometimes by committee members, other times by like non-committee members, just
club members.
Club members.
Yeah.
And what they will do is they will announce this campaign is going to happen.
Yeah.
On the Facebook page.
Yeah.
Sign up to it. Show your interest.
Yeah.
And then normally they'll either create like a message group or a WhatsApp group, or maybe they've got a private Discord or something like that.
A way to communicate.
A way to communicate. So we don't spam the Tags Facebook group.
Yes.
With campaign talk.
So if you're gonna join the Facebook page, you're not going to get ping, ping, ping.
Exactly
ping.
that. So the Tags Facebook page is kept for the booking thread.
Yeah.
Like any game announcements and general like people introducing themselves. We post up photographs of the night as well, although I'm an absolute bugger for remembering to take photographs. I sort of dialed into a game and it's like, I just don't remember to take the photograph.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it. A 24-hour event. You're like, I need to go take photos and stuff.
We've got an Instagram page as well, but my use of social media is not brilliant. And considering I'm the chairman and the secretary, I probably should get better at it.
Socials are hard.
Yeah, I keep meaning to take more photographs. I took thousands of photographs at the charity day, but that's because I wasn't playing, so I had the opportunity to go around, and there were some amazing looking models. So if you get the chance, have a look at those on Facebook. So there's some wonderful looking things.
And I like the photos for the inspiration, then painting and going, oh my god, I really like this person's art style, and that's something I really like from Tags, is that everybody's got different art styles for what they paint, if they paint, and I really like that.
And we've got some fantastic painters. We've got some armies that are just grey plastic, some that are just slap chop, right?
Like, even right the way
doesn't matter.
Back to the terrain, like you have like fully kitted out, like painted terrain or ready to go terrain that like you don't need to have that yourself if you're joining the club. They've got it, and they have the mats. They will come, bring out terrain. They'll set up like if you've booked a game, the mats are there ready to go for when you turn up,
so we've got a huge amount of mats. We've invested in mats because
and that's what like the subs go on and stuff like that.
Absolutely that. We've also got plenty of terrain. We haven't got infinite amounts.
No.
But we have got enough to cater for most needs.
Yeah.
If the game is more specialist, if we're going to talk about Infinity, we do have an Infinity table actually.
Very cool.
There's one of mine there, and there's a club one. But if the game is slightly more specialist, then we would suggest that you probably need to bring your own terrain or make do with. But if it's 40k. Age of Sigmar, all that kind of stuff. We got plenty of it. We got mats, got tables, got the terrain. All we would ask is that if you're going to use that terrain, please be gentle with it. Please put it away respectfully afterwards, because Gareth, our quartermaster, has worked really hard.
Yes, he has.
Really hard. He's got his own little cupboard, his own little private.
I love it. It's like my favourite room in Happy Piranha.
Yeah, it's all stacked there. We've invested in the very useful boxes, so it all stacks nicely. Martin from Happy Piranha is going to build us some shelves in there as well. So if the terrain box you want is down at the bottom,
you can get it out without
having to move everything else.
But that's what I love, is that Happy Piranha are like accommodating the club.
Brilliant.
And they're like, you can store the terrain here. We built you a little cupboard.
I can't speak highly enough about those boys.
Neither
actually.
Can I.
They have been so welcoming. They've been so inviting. I mean, it makes good business sense for them, right?
Yeah.
But also, they are so communicative. They are so open to anything we want to do.
Yeah.
And I think it's helped because since we've moved to Happy Piranha, we have expanded the player base.
Yeah.
I mean, we've gone from, like, I'd say 15, 16 guys down at Vaughan's place, where you couldn't hear yourself think because it was so loud.
Which is just unfortunate because of the room.
It was a small room, right? And there were pillars in the middle of it, and then you tried to walk past each other, and it was
Bumpsy.
Yeah. Well, to now, where we've got loads of space, we've got individual rooms.
Yeah.
You can have conversations without raising your voice. And since we've done that, the tags night has massively expanded. You know, regularly 25 to 30 people every night, every Monday. And that's consistent for the guys at Happy Piranha. So they're making money out of it. We're buying their stuff,
and that's the other thing. Is
we're supporting their cafe, because what they've done such a good job in that. It's such an amazing place.
Even if you only go down for one game at tags in that space, it is completely worth it. And not only that, is if you end up going down trialing a game, is that you can chat to Sam and be like, hey, can I get hot, like for me, Shatterpoint and Legion? I'm like,
that's right, yeah.
I like literally have the Bad Batch sat right there, which like they don't stock that normally. But I went, Sam, can you get that in for me? And they're like,
built them?
Of course, yeah, they're right there. They're like,
is that the Shatterpoint ones?
No, sorry, the Shatterpoint ones I've got 2 of, and I got them from Happy Piranha. And there, I'll show you those in the house, my friend.
I haven't built my Shatterpoint ones.
I did helmets on and helmets off.
Oh, did you?
I had to get both sets. And I did that because of Happy Piranha. I was like, look, you know, I currently, because I'm so busy, because Monday night's a Starfinder stream for us, so I can't get down to tags. But I was like, I still want to buy and paint. That's like my main part of the hobby.
Yeah.
And then, should I get a free Monday night, or should I go, actually, I've met people at the tags, like Sam, who plays Shatterpoint, and I'll be like, right, cool. Get in touch through the tags page and be like, right, I'd like to play a game of Shatterpoint, I'd like to play a game of Legion, XYZ, with certain people. And it's amazing how, like, if you can't access them on a certain night, access you guys on a certain night, like a Monday, the amount of people that are like, hell, I'm actually free that night, I'll give you a game of this. It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
We are coming, unfortunately, to the close of this interview, which has been amazing. I can't believe it's been like half an hour or so already, which is wild.
Time flies.
When you're having a nerdy conversation. and that is literally what a Monday night at tags is like. So I guess we should really reiterate where people can find you, when they can find you, how much are the subs, and basically what's the elevator pitch for tags? Go.
Okay, so you can find tags on Facebook. Just look up Trelawny's Army Gaming Society.
And I'll get the link and put that in the description.
Please do. Click the join button. I'll ascertain whether you're a bot or not, and let you join. Then just post whatever, you know, looking for a game, say what you play, you will be responded to very quickly. Subs on the night are £5, not £4, £5 a night.
Yeah.
Your first night is free.
Yeah.
Our treasurer, Adam, keeps a little diary of everyone that's had a free night, so he knows what's going on. You can pay by PayPal, or you can pay in cash. Either is fine. 6 o'clock Monday night, finishes at 10 o'clock.
Almost to get 2 games in for most times.
Yeah, depending on how quickly you play. I think as far as the rules of tags are concerned, there aren't really any rules. Just
don't be a dick,
don't
be kind.
A dick.
Yeah.
Treat everybody fairly, treat everybody with respect. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And that's the main thing that I took from tags, is that everybody has that respect for each other.
Just come and enjoy rolling dice.
Yeah.
Come and enjoy playing the games. Whatever you play, just come and enjoy it.
Yeah. And I think that is a great place to leave this conversation on. Thank you so much, Dan, for coming in and for having this conversation with me. I do hope that anybody who is watching this that is either coming to Cornwall, is from Cornwall, maybe is looking for a game of 40k right the way through to Legion, or any other war games that you can think of. I'm sure somebody at Tags knows something about them.
Guaranteed, 100%. Yeah.
Get on that Facebook page, get talking to them, go try out a night, go roll some dice and just have a good time. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much, Dan, for coming in. And
thanks for having me.
May those dice gods be ever in your favour. We'll see you later, guys.
Bye-bye.